I'm here. Do not come for me. Do you hear me? Do not do it. Do not come for me. Hello, hello. Good to see you guys. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Can you guys see me, hear me? Okay, we're good. I'm late. I tried to be on time, but StreamYard was messing with me. I had to do something like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, but like restart your computer. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. So I just had to do that and it was all fixed. Wasn't even actually the computer, honestly. It was like the internet. StreamYard wasn't connecting to internet. So sorry for being late, but not sorry because now I'm here. We can have fun. Okay. You guys can see me and hear me. Hi. I saw Mark, I saw Asane, and I see beautiful Augie. Hi, Augie. Good to see y'all. Okay, so we're covering Donna Adelson today. I know nothing about this case. So we're going to learn together. I just know some facts. So if you do know about the case, please jump into chat. Let us know, talk to us, comment, tell us what you think, what you know. I know like bits and pieces. I haven't been watching the trial, and the reason why I wanted to cover this is because I'm not comfortable with talking about a case if I don't have like the actual documents. I know that's weird. It's just a Melly thing, but I want to read through the affidavit because that's like the original piece of information that was out, and it's kind of like the outline of what is going on right now, and it has a lot of facts in it. So I want to read the affidavit from like when it initially first came out. I know the trial's going on right now, and I am thinking of covering that like in the evenings. I have not been keeping up with it, so I need to get caught up. Let me know in the chat if you guys are interested in that. Maybe we could do, I was thinking like current true crime, then Mackenzie, and then maybe Donna towards the end, or Mackenzie and Donna vice versa. But I will continue to keep reading Mackenzie texts. There's another live planned for later today, so I'm going to try to do those every night until we get through all of it. So hi, welcome. I'm Melly. For all of the new viewers, we do have a lot of new people joining our little family here at Mellyverse. So welcome. I have been seeing a lot of new people in the comments with the Mackenzie lives. And so, yeah, buckle up. We can get started now on Donna, but we're still going to continue Mackenzie. So don't fret. Make sure you guys like the video, please. It really helps push things out into the algorithm. And I don't ask for much other than just have fun and be respectful and hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications. That is just really helpful in general. So let's get started with Donna Adelson. I'm going to read through a timeline. I found this amazing timeline. Someone must have spent a lot of freaking time on it. I will link everything in the description once I update it at the end. And I always like to give credit to my sources. And I do just want to say a little shade. We're going to do a Melly After Dark. For all the new viewers who don't know what that is like, it's just where we have fun, we drink, we like to conversate, we like to talk life, true crime, everything. And I was going to mention this on an After Dark, is like, I do give credit, and I see a lot of creators that don't, even if it's like law and crime or whatever, like still give credit. And I know I'm one of the few channels that has a Mackenzie text. So with that being said, the timeline so I appreciate when people do give credit where it is due. I think it's shady that some creators just don't mention it. But I did find this timeline. So I will link the timeline down below. You guys can go look at it. Someone did really good on it. So it's a website by Chrono Timeline, and they did all the basic dates for Donna Is it Adelson or Adelson? Haven't even been listening. So yes, we need to get caught up on Donna. And then I'm going to read the affidavit, and then we're going to go through a few emails that were like in this evidence package that I found. And then after this live, maybe like tomorrow or something, I might do opening statements if you guys are interested in that. So anyways, I'm going to stop yapping. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah. Hi, Dee Dee. Good to see you. She's cool. Yes, I will hold your hand at the After Darks. Okay, so let me know if I get something wrong with the Donna. I'm reading. Yes, we are still getting Olivia. I know I switched up the time. Sorry, I had something come up yesterday. We'll talk about it on a different live Melly After Dark. Oh, I do want to do a shopping haul too. So are you guys interested in that? Because I like doing that kind of stuff, and I used to do it on Instagram. So I was thinking like I would do that here and maybe turn it into like a Melly After Dark. But let me know if you guys are interested in that. I don't really want to make a second channel. I want to just be myself and have everything on one channel. I know that sounds weird, but it's like true crime party time. So you know what I mean? I'm like, you get a little bit of both. But anyways, yes, 𝐿𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸 live after this. I might do 2 𝐿𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸 lives. I was thinking of doing like a late night one, just to make up for yesterday. So if not, I'm definitely doing one tomorrow. So definitely, please, please, please make sure you turn on your notifications. Okay, now I'm done. People are going to hate me. They're going to be like, ugh, we're here for the video and not for you to yap, Melly. Okay, let's get started. So this is the timeline I have pulled up. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you can. Can you see that? Things are different on my end. So let me see if I can zoom in. I'm afraid I cannot because it cuts it off. Okay, I'll zoom back out. So I'll just read it to you guys. I hope you guys can see most of it. I love your channel. Just found out you should do it all in one so we can pick what we want to watch. Please do too. I'll be here. We can party. Okay, yes, Olivia. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you love my channel. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of Mackenzie stuff. I also have a pre-record that I haven't dropped yet. That's going to be really good. Okay, so let's see. Donna Adelson, there's trial going on right now. I think they're on day 6 or 7. I will get caught up. Newlyweds. So Dan Markel was married to Wendi Adelson from 2016 to 2013. It says problems. So it's like a timeline, and then you click on the little magnifying glass and it gives you like a little like summary. And I'm like, whoever created this, kissy. Okay. Dan Markel was married to Wendi Adelson from 2016 to 2013. They had 2 sons, one born in 2009 and one in 2010. Problems before and even at the wedding. With regard to the latter, food was served that was not appropriately kosher, which upset Markel and some of the guests. Oh, it's interesting. So then it says that was February 26, 2006. And then it says divorce filing. Wendi Adelson files from divorce. It says September 5th, 2012. And then it says September 10th, 2012. Wendi takes furniture, the kids, and leaves divorce papers on the bed while Dan is out of town. The Pearl Harbor exit is what she calls it. Donna email number 1, which we're going to email. It was May 3rd, 2013. Wendy's attorney files for a relocation request. These are just like random timeline, I think important dates. Judge Hobbs rejects relocation request, June 20th, 2013. Donna's email gets sent on June 25th, 2013. And then email number 3 with the $1 million offer, which is huge. I believe in the trial that's going on right now. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. Divorce gets finalized. While the divorce between Dan and Wendi was finalized, their legal battles would continue. July 31st, 2013. And then it says August 15, 2013. According to Jeffrey Lacoste, Wendy's ex-boyfriend, she told him Charlie had looked into hiring a hitman in the summer of 2013. This is crazy. So it says blood pressure text, October 13th, 2013. It says Donna to Charlie, horrible day for your sister. Dad had to walk outside to lower his blood pressure. And then it says February 14th, 2014. Dan files a motion to enforce financial provisions. He claims misleading disclosure on Wendy's part, one to the tune of $240,000. And then Donna sends email number 4, February 18th, 2014, that says, let's aggravate him. We will read those emails. They're fairly short. March 4th, 2014, erase this text. Donna texts Charlie that she'll call him during the trip to the bathroom when she has some limited time alone. So let me see. Let me know does anyone think they're coming after Wendi? Okay, that is the last. That's like the one thing I think of this case. I don't know much of the facts. We're learning here together. Please take notes, class. Mayela's mom, does anyone think they're coming after Wendi after this? Yes, I've been hearing that they are. So when I heard that, I was like, I need to get locked in. I need the details. Donna's time is coming. So you guys think Melly owes us big time? I do. So you guys, okay, wait. Tea time. Let me know. Is Wendi guilty? Yes, they are coming for Wendi. Wendy's guilty, right? But so is Wendi. I don't get it. I don't get how Wendi cannot be incriminated in this from the little bit I have seen. Okay, but let's learn together. Let me know. What Dee Dee says, yes, they are coming for Wendi. Oh, shoot. There's a word I saw live. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll play it in my history. It's in my YouTube history. I might pull it up. You guys, I think you would like it. It's a TikToker, and she made like a 9-minute clip, and she explains like the legal words for whatever they call what they're going to do to Wendi, like what she thinks. And it was really good. I was like, oh, shoot, Wendi gonna get locked up. Wendi is definitely guilty. Okay, let's continue. I'm shook. I don't know a lot about this case, so we're learning together. If you already know, well, give me tips. Okay, 𝐤𝐥𝐥𝐲-𝐕𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞 and Wendi Adelson attend dinner together. Charlie Adelson and Jeff Lacasse were also in attendance. That's March 11th, 2014. March 26th, it says, upon learning that Donna was bad-mouthing him to his children, Dan files a motion to prohibit her from having supervised visits, known as a Sunshine's motion. And then a Sunshine's hearing is set. The hearing, May 15th, the hearing is set for Dan's motion to prohibit unsupervised visits between Donna and the children. First attempt, June 4th through 6th of 2014, it says Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera arrive in Tallahassee with the intention of unaliving Dan. They were unsuccessful and returned to Miami. I do have the interrogation for these people too, so let me know if you guys are interested in like playing that here and rewatching it. Derivative immunity. I should have known Dee Dee knew this. Granted for Wendi. Right. But wait. That means she can't get in trouble until after? Or they can file charges after or no? What kind of tea? Oh my gosh, I have so many things I want to share you guys on A Million After Dark regarding tea too. I mean, Wendi said some nasty things about Dan during the divorce, but that didn't convince me of her guilt. I need to see more on her. Oh, okay. I don't know. I just feel like Wendi totally knew and what. Yes, after what gleaned. Okay. So they can go after her even though she has derivative immunity. Let me read. I want to pull that up. Dee Dee said its derivative immunity refers to the use and derivative use immunity, which protects a witness from having their compelled testimony or any evidence derived from that testimony used against them in a criminal prosecution. This is a narrower form of immunity than transactional immunity, and while it prevents immediate use of testimony, the prosecution can still use the testimony to find independent evidence to prosecute the witness for other crimes. Oh, so they're like setting it up. They're setting it up. They can't use anything against her that she said unless they find something themselves. So they can't get information from witnesses and the trial itself. They have to find it from new sources. Bingo, says Dee Dee. Oh my gosh, I love you guys for talking through this with me. I like learning. You know, I was going to sit there and like go through all of this by myself, but I'm like, that's boring. I could just go through it with you guys. Probably know about this. Okay, so first attempt, and then it says Wendi cancels plans. June 4th, 2014, Wendi unexpectedly cancels travel plans to California with her then boyfriend, Jeff. Jeff said this was strange as the plans were set, tickets were purchased, and there was no good reason for the cancellation. She was a nervous wreck. Jeff states that on the same night Wendi canceled plans and the killers were in Tallahassee, Wendi was a nervous wreck. He went to the store to get her Pepto-Bismol. Oh. So then lead up, Dad's birthday present, June 8th, 2014. Charlie texts Donna that he's still working on Dad's birthday present. Donna replies with, I know you'll come through. June 11th, Wendi's TV is broken. Jeff testifies that during the week of June 11th, Wendi's TV was broken. He stated that it looked like someone had struck it with an object. Wendi's picture at the beach with 𝐤𝐤𝐥𝐥𝐲-𝐕𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞 on June 15th. Katie's the one that was arrested for this as well, right? July 1st, in an attempt to leave an angry voicemail for Charlie, Sigfredo Garcia inadvertently contacts Harvey Adelson's cell phone. This serves as one of the earliest direct connections between the actual gunman and the Adelson family. Whoa. This is wild. Harvey's 70th birthday, July 5th. When asked about the birthday during Charlie's trial, Wendi can't remember anything significant about it, including big gifts he received. Lead up. Wendi texts Dan. Wendi texts Dan, July 6th, with her cell phone at or near her parents' residence. Wendi texts Dan asking if he'll be in Tallahassee July 14th through the 18th. Donna sets a repair appointment for Wendi for her TV. Awkward yoga date, July 14th. Wendi, after showing signs of excitement to spend with Jeff, acts distant and uninterested during a yoga date that night. Later in the parking lot, as Jeff walks to his car feeling the relationship is over, Wendi inquires about his plans on the 18th. The hitman rent a car. The Prius was rented at 6:15 p.m. on July 15th, 2014 to Luis Rivera, with the rental period extending through the 21st, which is 3 days following the homicide. Another phone number belonging to Sigfredo is included on the contract. The hitmen depart for Tallahassee. The second attempt is officially underway on July 16th. Holy cow, these people tried more than once. She broke up with Jeff days before the crime. Jeff was a talker on the stand. Okay, so I definitely need to watch this trial. Jeff's testimony this week was very telling. Melly gasp. So glad you're covering this. I'm so glad you guys are here to help. I know people wonder if they will go after Harvey. Cheaper to buy Wendi a new TV than to hire hitman in testimony. Right. Harvey has brain cancer. He does? Oh my gosh, I'm learning so much. Okay, so the killers are in Tallahassee for the second hit. July 18th, phone activity, 8:09. Donna contacts Wendi, 35 seconds. 8:20, Wendi texts Charlie, "This is so sweet." 8:50, Dan drops his children off at Creative Preschool. 9 a.m., Geek Squad arrives. 9:02 a.m., Dan Markel contacts Wendi. 1 minute informs Wendi via voicemail that he'll be at the gym between 9:15 and 10:30 a.m. 9:12 a.m., Charlie contacts Wendi. 9:19, Wendi contacts Charlie. 9:38, Charlie contacts Donna. 9:58, Charlie contacts Katie. An over 6-minute conversation. 10:07 p.m., Katie contacts Charlie. 10:08, Katie contacts Charlie again. Charlie contacts Katie at 10:09. So that's phone activity prior to. July 18th, Dan Markel is shot. As Dan returns home from the gym, Luis Rivera pulls up behind him in the driveway, blocking Dan inside the garage. Sigfredo exits the passenger side of the Prius, approaches Dan on the driver's side, and fires 2 shots, hitting him twice in the head. Dan holds on for about 14 hours and passes away in the early morning hours of July 19th. I do have a few pictures to show you guys of that too. So July 18th, he's pew-pewed. Sorry, just came in. Yes, it's moved it a little bit after this. First attempt aborted. Wendi in the same neighborhood buying wine at the time of the crime. Sus. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences. Call it a spiritual thing, but it's like, really? You were in the same neighborhood? Really at the same time buying wine? Okay, so phone activity post-crime, July 18th, 11:02 a.m. 11:02 a.m., Markel's neighbor calls 911. 11:06, Donna contacts Charlie. 11:22, Charlie contacts Donna. 11:30, Charlie contacts Katie. 11:31, Charlie contacts Katie again. 12:30, Sigfredo tells Katie it's done, to which she replies, "I know." This is crazy. Okay, so then Wendi drives to the scene post-crime, July 18th, around 12:31 p.m. Wendi left her residence to purchase alcohol for a Stock the Bar party, and then met friends for lunch at the Mosaic restaurant. Despite a shorter route being available, she drove south on Centerville Road, which approximately doubled the length of the trip. She stated in her first and only police interview that she turned on Trescott and drove until she reached the police tape. An officer on scene sees the same SUV as the one Wendi drove at the time of the drive up to the tape drove at the time, drive up to the tape and abruptly turn around and leave. It was a busy active crime scene by the time she would have driven with full view of the activity. Wendi did not speak to an officer on scene, inquire about her children, call their school, or contact Dan to find out what was happening or ensure the children were safe. At 12:49 p.m., Wendi buys Bulleit bourbon for the stock bar party later that night and proceeds to lunch with her friends at the restaurant. Police interview Wendi. This is the first and only interview she will give. I do want to play that here as well. July 18th. Donna texts Charlie, outside your house. Charlie says 10 minutes. Cell phone data helped investigators estimate that Donna and likely Harvey were at Charlie's residence for approximately an hour and a half before leaving for Orlando. Katie arrives at Charlie's. Katie stated while at Charlie's residence, Charlie was armed and acting frantic. Charlie told her his mother and father had just left the residence and left money that his mom had washed. At the trial, Katie testified that the money she received was damp and moldy, consistent with being physically washed, and was stapled into $1,000 stacks. Oh, wow. Donna and Harvey arrive in Orlando on July 19th. After spending an hour and a half at Charlie's, cell phone data shows Donna and Harvey arrive in Orlando at 1:25 a.m. Katie organizes the payments. After spending the night, Katie leaves Charlie's. She stated that the money was already placed in her trunk, washed and stapled in $1,000 stacks. Soon after leaving at around 10:30 a.m., she will organize payments to the hitmen, Sigfredo and Luis Rivera, at the Rivera's house. Money was washed and stapled. Luis testified Wendi communicated where Dan would be and his schedule. Wendi. I don't believe in coincidences either. Yeah. I smelled BS as soon as Wendi name came up. She's full of it. Okay, this is wild. Donna and Harvey arrive in Orlando. Okay, so yeah, I already read that one. Sorry. They arrive in Orlando. Katie organizes the payments. Okay. July 20th, Dan's memorial service was held at Congregational Shomai Torah to remember him. And then July 22nd, Wendi and her parents returned to South Florida with the children. At Dan's memorial service, Donna and Harvey were approached by TPD for an interview. The next day, Wendi was asked for a second interview. The Adelsons never scheduled those interviews or contacted investigators for an update on the case. August 18th, 2014, Katie deposits $13,000. After Markel's murder, Katie deposited a substantial sum of cash. In the month following the crime, she deposited over $13,000 in cash. The total cash deposited in the 6 weeks after the homicide exceeded her entire previous year deposits. These deposits, mostly made through ATMs, range from $300 to $2,000. From the time of the homicide until November 15th, Katie deposited over $56,000 in cash, excluding her paychecks from the Adelson Institute. Post-homicide investigations uncovered that from September 2014, Katie had been receiving paychecks from the Adelson Institute for aesthetics and implant dentistry. These paychecks, handwritten and signed by Donna, were consistent in amount, totaling $407.58 every 2 weeks. Each check's memo section indicated a 10-day period, typically preceding the check's date, and these payments continued at least until April 2016. On several occasions, Katie received these paychecks in advance of the period specified on them and often received sequential checks. Oh, wow. She's paying her for that long. Name change, September 1st. At the start of the school year, Wendi uses Adelson instead of Markel for the boys' last name. Harvey's 71st birthday on July 5th. July 6th, on this date, Wendi, oh yeah, so she changed the names. Okay, officially, legally changed. January 23rd, 2016, Katie gets a Lexus. Katie was found in the possession and use of a 2001 Lexus sedan, initially registered to Harvey and formerly used by Charlie. On January 23rd, 2016, the car's title was transferred to Katie and she obtained a new license plate in her name. Vehicle record shows the Lexus was sold to Katie for $1,700. In addition to these financial benefits, Katie received cash and numerous gifts from Charles Adelson since the unaliving. The bump, April 19th. As undercover FBI agent posing as Latin Kings gang member approached Donna Adelson outside her Miami condo and hinted that he wanted to be paid blackmail, he handed her an article about Markel's murder with 5,000 written on it and a phone number to call. So that's the bump. I have some videos, some calls regarding that situation. First week after crime, when he moved to Miami with the kids. It's crazy that educated people do dumb crimes. I know, I don't get it. Whitney stole her birth name, which is outrageous. Stole their birth name. I think that is outrageous too. The bump is priceless. April 20th, Charlie meets with Donna. After discussing the bump on the phone, the conspirators meet to unravel things in person where they can speak more comfortably. And it's links the first call. We do have the first call on that I want to play. Charlie meets with Donna. Oh, I'm sorry. I just repeated that one. The Matsuri meeting. Harvey, I was surprised they didn't come to me. Matsuri meeting. I don't know what kind of meeting that is. April 22nd, Harvey's knowledge. Charlie says, did Dad tell you what I spoke to him about? After discussing the bump with Harvey at Matsuri, Charlie calls Donna the very next day to further the conversation with her, showing that all three were part of the same conversational thread. Post-crime, April 25th. On April 25th, a letter was dispatched to Harvey and Donna, sent via USPS by investigator. This letter was to follow up to the undercover agent's initial reaction. April 28th, Charlie calls FBI agent. After reviewing the information handed to Donna during the bump, Charlie calls a number provided. He has a brief conversation with the FBI agent. The text, May 4th, 2016. On May 4th, 2016, around 2:09 a.m., Donna received a text message from the undercover agent on her cell phone. Meeting at the Icon, all three. On May 5th, Charlie arrived at the Icon and met Donna and Harvey by the pool area to discuss the text message. They chose a secluded corner area for privacy and no oral intercept was captured due to their chosen location. Donna calls FBI agent May 6th. After the bump, the letter, and the text, Donna calls the undercover agent posing as a Latin Kings gang member demanding money due to his knowledge to the involvement in the unaliving of Dan. Sigfredo is arrested May 25th, 2016. Police bridge the gap June 2nd. Members of the family are implicated in the murder for hire scheme that ended in Dan's death. Whoa. Offer time started and turn it down. I'm reading your guys' comments. The second man accused of killing Dan, Luis, is extradited on June 28th. Prior to his extradition, Rivera was being held in a federal facility for his involvement in the gang, according to the Department of Justice. Katie is arrested October 1st, was taken into custody October 1st, 2016 on a warrant for first-degree murder. Katie's mistrial. Sigfredo and Catherine are tried together. Garcia was convicted and Magbanua got a mistrial. 23rd of September, 2019. Wait, Katie's mistrial? That really happened? I didn't know that. Luis got 14 years approximately. What? October 11th, 2019, Sigfredo is convicted. The jury deliberated for 11 hours Thursday and Friday before convicting the man. He was found guilty of first-degree red rum. Charles Adelson is arrested April 21st, 2022. Charles Adelson, the former brother-in-law of murdered Florida State University Dan, was arrested in connection to Markel's killing. November 6th, Charlie gets convicted. First-degree murder along with the conspiracy to commit murder and solicitation. Post-crime escape plan. November 7th. On November 7th, 2023, Donna and Harvey booked flights to Vietnam with a layover in Dubai. Their flight is scheduled to depart from Miami on November 13th and 10 p.m. to Dubai. The connecting flight leaves Dubai on November 15th and arrives in Saigon at 7:35 p.m. In this hot mic moment where Donna does not realize she's being recorded, she admits the plans to flee. Wow. Donna Adelson is arrested November 13th, 2023. Donna was arrested Monday night in Miami International Airport. In addition to the first-degree charge, she faces charges of conspiracy and solicitation in the shooting death of renowned Dan. Donna hires Charlie's lawyer on January 9th, Daniel Rashbaum, Charles, to represent her as she faces the charges. Okay, so that's where the timeline ends. Now let's get started on what a mess. Yeah, I know. I had no idea about a lot of those things. Donna Sue with her organizational charts. What's happening? We're learning about Donna. Okay, I'm going to pull up this is what I'm really excited to read, is the affidavit. It's quite long, but we get through them pretty quick here. We read a lot of documents here. So it says, Defendant Donna Sue, summary and probable cause affidavit. Luis very believable on the stand this week. Okay. The Vietnam timeshares crowned Charlie this when the clan turned them into the FBI. The co-owner was Charlie's best friend? What? That is wild. Okay, so let's see. This affidavit sets forth cause to believe that Sigfredo and Luis Rivera murdered Dan Markel and was arranged by Catherine, Charles, and Donna. On Friday, July 18th, 2014, at 11:02 a.m., a report of a shooting was received at Truscott Drive, the home of Florida State University, Dan Markel, in Tallahassee, Florida. Upon arrival, officers found Markel slumped over in the driver's seat of his vehicle from an apparent wound to the head. Markel was transported from the scene to a local hospital where he later died from injuries sustained during the shooting. The investigation of the crime scene found no indication that this incident was part of any other criminal intent, such as a burglary or robbery. A neighbor heard a loud bang and looked out his window, where he saw a small silver or light-colored vehicle resembling a Prius backing out of the victim's driveway. He walked over to check on Markel and discovered him in distress and called 911. That it is a lot of info. Investigators located the victim's ex-wife, Wendi, at a local restaurant and transported her to the police department for an interview. During the interview of Wendi, she made statements suggesting the murder of Markel could have been arranged by someone on her behalf without her knowledge. Wendi indicated her parents were very angry at Dan and further suggested that someone could have arranged the murder thinking it would help her. She specifically mentioned that her brother Charles, aka Charlie, joked about hiring a hitman to unalive Markel in the past. She said her brother makes a lot of jokes and in bad taste had previously commented that he looked into hiring a hitman, but it was cheaper to buy her a television as a divorce gift. Wendi indicated that she did not think her brother would actually commit this crime. It should be noted that Wendy's mother, Donna, set a television repair appointment on July 2014 for Wendy's television to be repaired on the morning of the homicide on July 18th. Records obtained from Best Buy show a service was completed on her television the morning July 18th, the same day of the homicide. Wendi stated that after the divorce, she wanted to relocate to South Florida with her children. She felt her former in-laws would suspect her of murdering their son since she was denied the ability to move by the court. Wendi filed for divorce on September 10th, 2012. The divorce was later finalized by a marital settlement agreement on July 31st, 2013. The investigators reviewed voluminous documents, including emails, text messages, and court documents. The review determined Wendi and her brother Charles, as well as their parents, Harvey and Donna, were determined to have Wendi and the two children relocated to South Florida, where the Adelsons reside after her divorce from Markel. Markel objected his wife moving his children to South Florida, and on June 20th, 2013, Leon County Circuit Judge Hobbs formally denied with prejudice Wendy's motion for relocation with the children. This reminds me of the case, you guys know the two girls from, was it Ohio? Where the grandma does the same thing, like over a custody battle. Oh my gosh, I know I've covered them, I feel bad. This amped up once court denied custody and moved to Miami. So that's why. That's why Donna is going to spend the rest of her life in prison, because she just wanted her daughter to move there with the children. Is that worth it? Like, do people not have a brain? That's just wild. Okay. After the court's denial, Wendy's parents, especially her mother, Donna, repeatedly tried to convince Wendi to coerce Dan into allowing the relocation to South Florida. Donna suggested the family offer Markel $1 million to allow the relocation, with Donna and her husband, Harvey, contributing 1/3, Wendi contributing 1/3, and Charles contributing 1/3. Donna also suggested that Wendi threatened to convert Markel's children to Catholicism, knowing Markel was a very observant in his Jewish faith, and that the religious practices of the children were of the utmost importance to Markel. Oh. Interesting. Wendy's prior boyfriend, Jeff, stated Wendi disclosed to him that Charles had seriously looked into hiring a hitman in the summer of 2013, and he was told it would cost either $15,000 or $50,000. Jeff also reported that when he was visiting Charles with Wendi in the spring of 2013, Charles bragged about being connected to a Cuban criminal element. Wait, they had this much money? The Adelsons did? $1 million? Power, domination, and control. Dan had $2.6 million life insurance that Dan transferred to beneficiary to a trust for the kids. Latin Kings. Wow. It was learned that around the time of the crime, Catherine was involved in a personal relationship with Charles. Katie's cellular phone number, and they list it, called records show Katie was one of Charles' top contacts, and text communication confirmed the relationship was more than a friendship. Wait, is that true, you guys? It was more than a friendship? That I did not know. Nope. I'm shooketh. It was later confirmed by Katie, they call her Catherine. Charles enlisted Katie, who had then enlisted the father of her two children, Sigfredo, to carry out this crime. Garcia enlisted Rivera's assistant, and Garcia and Rivera were compensated for their actions. Katie was the only link between Markel and the shooters, Garcia and Rivera. Katie's only ties to Daniel are Charles and a couple instances where she met Wendi. The only way Katie, Garcia, and Rivera knew of Daniel Markel and his relationship with the Adelson family was through Charles Adelson. While in the interview room, Wendi wanted to call her parents to notify them of the incident. While contemplating a lot as to what she would say, she told the victim advocate sitting next to her that her parents were very angry with Dan, and it described a very effed up situation. Wendi then called and talked to her mother, Donna. After notifying Donna of the crime, Wendi asked her to notify Charles of the crime so Wendi would not have to do so. After Wendi's conversation with her mother, Donna called Charles' cell phone at 7:11 p.m. and went to voicemail. Charles then called Donna's cell phone at 7:13 p.m. with a call duration of 5 minutes and 47 seconds. At 7:29 p.m., Charles called Donna again with a duration of 6 minutes and 31 seconds. At 7:36 p.m., Charles called Katie's cell phone with a duration of 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Wendi's parents, Harvey and Donna, made contact with the lead TPD investigator at Markel's memorial service on Sunday morning, July 20th in Tallahassee. They agreed to contact the TPD investigator to arrange an interview before returning to South Florida. The following day, the TPD investigator contacted Wendi on her cellular phone. Once the investigator identified himself, Wendi claimed to have a bad connection and the call was terminated. Less than 5 minutes later, Wendi's attorney called the investigator and informed him that Wendi had left town with the children and parents en route to South Florida. The attorney could not provide a date for Wendi's return to Tallahassee and requested he be contacted for further inquiries. What a little lying little snatch. She's like, oh, call dropped, but let me call my lawyer. Sigfredo is baby daddy of Katie's two kids. Charlie was boyfriend. Oh, so it was like known that they were like a thing? It was revealed this week that Charlie Has son Roman. No info who baby mama is. Dang. Ex-boyfriend. Interesting. Okay, Harvey and Donna left Tallahassee with Wendi and the grandchildren the day after the memorial service without speaking with the investigator as promised. Since leaving, no one in the Adelson family contacted TPD or inquired about the status of the investigation. Charles did not attend the memorial service for his ex-brother-in-law. In July of 2015, Wendi had her children's surname changed from Markel to Adelson. I find this insane. I find this insane. On July 18, 2014, Markel left his home that morning and drove his two children to daycare on the west side of Tallahassee. Markel drove to Premier Health and Fitness Center. Markel arrived at Premier, where surveillance video shows a silver or light green Toyota Prius enter the parking lot after Dan parked his car. After Markel went into the health club, the video captured the Prius in the parking lot where the driver moved the vehicle to different parking positions while Markel was in the building. No individuals ever exited the Prius. Additional surveillance video discovered for the day of the homicide showed the same Prius before and after the homicide, including following Markel into Markel's neighborhood immediately prior to the shooting. After analyzing the surveillance videos, the suspect was determined to be a 2006 to 2009 Toyota Prius with silver pine mica paint color. The Prius had tinted windows, a sun-pass transponder on the top center of the windshield, a missing tow hook cover on the front bumper, and a black passenger side mirror casing. It was determined the Prius followed the victim throughout the morning and back towards his residence where the shooting occurred. The suspect vehicle fit the description given by Markel's neighbor after he heard a gunshot and looked out the window and saw the Prius backing out of the victim's driveway. Wendi tried to erase the kids' history with the dad, Dan, so she stole their last name to attempt to erase Dan. That is so messed up. What was the problem? What was the problem? That Dan didn't want them to move? That was worth getting him literally hiring hitmen? That's insane. I think that's insane. Literal insanity. Could nothing have been fixed? Religion. Oh, that's the main thing. Because Dan was Jewish, right? In the family. Really? Oh, wow. Florida Department of Transportation records for Sun-Pass Alligator Alley on July 16 and 18 had one account listing a Prius as a customer vehicle. The Sun-Pass transponder activity was consistent with cell data for Rivera and Garcia's handset travels. The transponder of interest in this case is number, etc., per F.records. The Sun-Pass account using the above transponder is a rental car company in North Miami, Florida. Law enforcement obtained the rental contract for the 2008 Toyota Prius on July 15, 3 days before the homicide. The customer is listed as Luis Rivera with a contact number of etc. A second telephone number was also written on the rental contract. Garcia's phone with the word brother written beside the number. The rental contract indicates the Prius was checked out at 6:15 p.m. on July 15th and rented to Rivera through July 21st, 3 days after the homicide. The Prius rented by Luis on July 15th contained a GPS device installed by the owner to assist with theft or non-return. The GPS company records have the vehicle location on July 15th at 10:25 p.m. at the parking lot of 7501 Treasure Drive, North Bay Village, Florida. This was the location of Katie's resident at the time. On July 18th at 12:26 a.m., the vehicle was located at North Monroe Street and East 6th Avenue in Tallahassee, Florida. On July 19th at 1:26 a.m., the vehicle was located behind 135th Street, North Miami, Florida. This address is the residence of Jessica Rodriguez, who was a girlfriend of and has a child with Rivera. Oh. The Prius was a problem, clearly. Both Jewish, but one Orthodox. I agree, Augie. What's happening when people have too much money and power? Money and power is just so bad. Shallow, soulless people. It makes people evil. Donna is cooked. Cellular location data for 𝐤𝐥𝐥𝐲 and Rivera is consistent with them being in the area of Katie's residence during and around the time of the vehicle. GPS showed its location to be in the parking lot of Katie's condominium. Both Garcia and Rivera met with Katie the night before departing for Tallahassee to commit the murder. Analysis of Rivera's checking account revealed an ATM transaction took place in Broward County on July 18th at 6:46 p.m. as they were returning to Miami from Tallahassee, Florida. Security video from the drive-through ATM lane shows Rivera driving a Toyota Prius driving up to the ATM at 6:45. As the Toyota Prius exits the ATM area at 6:47 p.m., a Florida license plate can be seen on the rear of the car. The tag characters match those of the rental contract. Cellular records show numerous contacts between Katie and both Charles Adelson and Sigfredo. On one occasion, telephone records show contact between Garcia's handset and a cellular telephone registered to Harvey, Charles and Wendy's father, on July 1st. At approximately 11:47 a.m., Katie's phone began attempting to contact Garcia's telephone. Over the next 5.5 hours, Katie attempted to contact Garcia approximately 48 times. At 5:05 p.m., Katie made contact with Garcia and they had a conversation lasting 6 minutes and 22 seconds. Approximately 9 minutes later, at 5:20 p.m., Garcia's cellular telephone attempted to contact Harvey's cellular telephone. The cellular records indicate this call went to voicemail. And then there's a telephone number 786, etc., was being used by Garcia prior to the crime and had been in contact with Katie's number approximately 2,700 times between May and July 19th, 2014, when Garcia's cell phone ceased activity the day after the homicide. The telephone belonged to Luis Rivera during the time leading up to Markel's murder. The following contacts took place the morning of July 18th. 12 to 12, we kind of already read some of these. 12 to 23 a.m., Rivera and Garcia's handsets communicated with cell sites in the area of Roadway Inn. 12:01 a.m., Katie contacts Garcia. 12:07, Charlie contacts Katie. 12:34, Katie contacts Charlie. 1:02 a.m., Charlie contacts Donna. 1:03 a.m., Charlie contacts Katie. 8:09, Donna contacts Wendi. 8:50, Daniel drops his children off at this preschool. 9:02 a.m., Dan contacts Wendi. 9:12 a.m., Charlie contacts Wendi. 9:19, Wendi contacts Charlie. Charlie then contacts Donna. Charlie contacts Katie. Katie contacts Charlie. Wow. Katie then contacts Charlie. Charlie contacts Katie. 10:52 to 10:55 a.m., neighbor hears gunshots and sees small light-colored vehicle pulling out of the driveway. 11 o'clock a.m., subject on phone with Markel attempts to call Markel back. Call goes to voicemail. 11:01 a.m., subject texts Markel asking if he is okay. 11:02 a.m., Markel neighbor calls 911. 11:06, Donna contacts Charlie. Charlie contacts Donna again. 11:30, Charlie contacts Katie. 11:31, Charlie contacts Katie. On the morning of July 18th, Garcia's telephone ceased activity just before 10 a.m. while in the area of the Premier Gym, with the last text message occurring at 9:58 a.m. The next event on Garcia's telephone was text messages and/or notifications being received at 12:29 p.m. Immediately afterward, at 12:30 p.m., Garcia placed a call to Katie, which was the first contact initiated by Garcia after the homicide. The cell call occurred when Garcia's phone was in the area of Lake City, Florida, or near I-75, approximately 1.5 hours after the shooting was reported. It's so much info. I know. Approximately 2 hours after Garcia and Rivera arrived back in Miami, Katie departed her residence and went to Rivera's residence while attempting to contact Garcia telephonically. While Katie, Garcia, and Rivera were together, Katie had telephonic contact with Charlie. Katie traveled north to Charlie Adelson's residence, where she would remain until the following morning. Katie stated that while at Charles's residence, Charles was armed and acting frantic. Charles told her his mother and father had just left his residence and left money that his mom had washed. At the trial, Katie testified that the money she received was damp and moldy, consistent with being physically washed, and was stapled into $1,000 stacks. Katie took a Xanax that was provided by Adelson and fell asleep. The next morning, on 7/19 at 9:44 a.m., Katie left the residence and was told by Adelson that the money was in the trunk of her car. Katie attempted to contact Garcia. Communication records in Charlie's Adelson's cloud showed Donna telling Charlie she was outside your house at approximately 8:59 p.m. on July 18th. Cellular records for Donna and Harvey show an arrival time of 1:25 a.m. in Orlando, leaving an approximate half an hour time block consistent with her being at Charlie's residence. Donna and Harvey traveled to Orlando for the evening, then on to Tallahassee the following morning. Prior to the homicide, Katie was employed at Miami area dental office. Investigation revealed that after the homicide occurred in July of 2014, Katie started receiving checks from the Adelson Institute for Aesthetics and Implant Dentistry, which were handwritten and signed by Donna. These paychecks started in September of 2014 and were consistent in the amount of $407.58, which she received every 2 weeks. The memo section of each check indicated it was a period of 10 days, usually preceding the date of the check. The checks continued at least through April 2016. On at least 2 different occasions, Katie received paychecks in advance of the time period indicated on the check and frequently received sequential checks. Katie received a significant amount of cash after Markel's murder. In the month following the murder, Katie deposited over $13,000 in cash. In the 6 weeks following the homicide, she deposited more cash than she did in the entire year leading up to the homicide. These numerous deposits were conducted mostly through ATMs in increments of $300 to $2,000. From the homicide through November 2015, the total amount of cash the investigators identified deposited into Katie's account is over $56,000. This amount is over and above the paychecks she had received. Katie received 44 payments. The investigation revealed that Katie did not work at the Institute. Katie was also in possession of and operating a 2001 Lexus automobile, which was registered to Harvey and previously used by Charlie. On January 23rd, 2016, the title for the car was transferred to Katie and a new license plate was obtained in her name. Motor vehicle records indicate that the vehicle was sold to Katie for the price of $1,700. In addition, Katie received cash and numerous gifts from Charlie since the murder. A review of the financial records indicate that Charles and Donna had the financial means to finance this crime and provide an ongoing compensation to Katie. On April 19th, 2016, an undercover agent made contact with Donna in reference to Markel's murder. The undercover agent provided a press release of Dan's murder and asked for $5,000 and provided a phone number at which it could be contacted. As a result of this contact, conversations were intercepted. Call number 1380. Donna calls Charlie asking him to meet her about some paperwork that was hand-delivered to her outside her condo. The icon on South Beach was intercepted. During this conversation, when Charlie inquired whether it involved him or others, Donna responded in a whisper. "Well, probably both of us," she said. When Charles asked her to repeat herself, she stated, "Probably the 2 of us, and you probably have a general idea what I'm talking about." When Charles inquired further, Donna said this was not something she wanted to discuss over the phone. Call 1382. Donna and Charlie discussed meeting and whether or not Charlie needed to bring cash. Charlie inquired whether or not a threat was involved and whether the police should be contacted. Donna responded that this time she did not believe that was a good idea. Call 1386. Charles Adelson called and immediately told his mother, Donna, don't talk about things in the apartment or any place. He then asked if the person was black, white, Hispanic, to which Donna said he was white. Charles said it sounded something like that needs the police. Donna says she may have to, but wants to talk to him first. When Charles asked what the letter asked for, Donna said, this TV is probably about 5. Charles asked if they asked for $5,000, to which Donna responded affirmatively. Donna also said they mentioned an ex-girlfriend. Call 1392. Charles called Katie after trying to reach her by phone unsuccessfully about an hour before. Charles explained the situation to Katie as he understood it from his mother. Something regarding her son, something regarding his ex-girlfriend, and the person asking for money. Charles tells Katie he's going to see his mom the next day to discuss the matter. There's some discussion of whether Katie is a girlfriend referenced by the agent. Charles said he thought his mother said the agent mentioned Katie's name, but he's not sure and will follow up with her if the situation does involve her. Katie agrees to meet Charles in person the next day. April 20th around 4 p.m. Charles never contacted any other females to discuss the contact between his mother and the undercover agent. The morning of April 20th, Charles told his mother he would meet her at home at 12:35 p.m. After Charles arrived at the Icon, where his mother and father reside, he and Donna walked outside to a remote table behind the building and sat close together while conversing. None of the conversation was successfully captured. Yeah. This would have happened without the Prius. Where did people find all the time and energy for that mess? I know. So it says, after meeting with Donna in person, he called Katie and traveled to her in Sunny Isle at the real estate office where she worked. When Charles arrived at the strip mall where Katie worked, they talked briefly outside, then went into a restaurant, Dolce Vita, near the real estate office. Oh, this is where Dolce Vita comes into play. I've heard about that call. The conversation was captured while they sat in the restaurant. The following statements Charles made directly to Katie were previously only audible with the use of proprietary software. Through the use of an expert, the audio conversation between Katie and Charles was clarified. The following are portions of that conversation. 1, if they had any evidence, we would have already gone to the airport. The problem is, even if they bugged your home phone, but even if they bugged your phone, okay, KM, but even if they bugged your phone, okay, you're still not talking about any of this. And then something else they caught was, so my point is, how do you get people to talk? You throw a smoke grenade and then you get all the cockroaches to run out. There's smoke in the house. There's smoke in the house. And everyone's running and talking and you throw a smoke grenade. What do you think? Number 3, they may have approached my mom because my dad may be someone who is carrying a GUN. You never know if someone's, you don't want to turn it into a effing shootout, And I can tell you, a lot of times I carry on me. I mean, someone comes up to me, KM, you're carrying on you right now. I mean, I'm going to start carrying one on my back, like, a holster that fits in your shirt. If someone comes up to me, they better be ready to shoot because I'm going to shoot them. Someone comes up to me asking for money right now. Yeah. And when the effing police show up and there's a doctor, there's an oral surgeon standing there with a dead gang member in the effing driveway. They're not going to come down too hard on me and I'm not going to talk anyway. I don't know how much I don't trust them. Katie, number 4, Katie, this is not like some chick showing off tattoos to your man. This is happening and it's serious because people are going to come back. They didn't go through the trouble of seeking my mom out to hand her that and then go away. So I got 2 options. They're not going away, may wish they'd go away and never come back, but they ain't going away. The trouble they went through. So this is parts of the conversation. They even talked in the restaurant. Yeah. So number 5, no, it's very simple. Like, if you're going to charge me. Number 6, what I'm saying is this person is not going away. They came very equipped with details. And where did the details come from? I don't know the details. Number 7, 2 said the guy's name was 2O. I don't even know who the F it is. Is there just 2O? And then it says parentheses KM supplies name. Tudo's incarcerated now, and I know that you've been helping out Katie and helping your family and helping out Katie and her family. Now Tudo's family needs your help. My mom was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, well, maybe this will refresh your memory. And he handed it to her. KM talking, and she said, respect, spoke like polite. She goes, polite and well-spoken. I said, did he act thug? Or did he have a talk with a thick Spanish accent or anything? She said, no. I said, is he white or Hispanic? She said he was white, but he could have been Hispanic. But that KM talking, and yeah, could have made mistakes. I mean, everybody in Miami is Hispanic, so it's like you can't tell. 8, so Katie, they'll be back. These people know about whoever it is knows information. Number 9, let me ask a question. When everybody was there the next day, did any of you take money? It's not like you're driving around in a Bentley, cruising around in a mega yacht. He must at some point, because otherwise he had no idea I'd have anything to do with. Number 10, it says, it could. I wish it was a cop playing games. Why didn't they know it was me? If it was a cop playing games or an investigator playing games, And they didn't mention me. They did mention your son's girlfriend, Katie, not mention me at all and my family. And I think if they thought I had something to do with it, they would find me and they'd talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, go talk to the person who's involved, not effing people who aren't involved. Number 11, and I'm not involved, but if they knew are your relationships with me, not my family. Like, I dated you, not my mom. They knew my dad's name. The person obviously doesn't even know we dated. That's the direct connection, is who is her boyfriend? The 71-year-old guy, Dr. Adelson, or the 37-year-old Dr. Adelson? Yeah, 37. Let's go talk to him. Dr. Adelson, that's who you talk to, not waste your time with mom. They needed to talk to someone who knew what the F went down. And so wouldn't it make sense that your connection to my family is me? Charlie dealt with people on the other side of the tracks. So he, like, with gangsters and stuff, he was involved with like that kind of stuff. How? I thought he was like in dental work. How wasn't he involved with thugs? Charlie bought Katie a Mercedes too. Okay, that's wild. Okay, so then he says, your connection to my family is not my mom. Like, yeah, you work for the office now because the checks are from there. And that's just because you come in and work on the weekends, which I trust that you're doing because I'm never there when I see you. You tell me you do it and the place looks clean, so you get your checks. You clean up whatever, but that's neither here nor there. This person knows information, and even if they are the cops, that information said your name. And they also know that they're claiming that somebody who had something to do with it is incarcerated. I don't know anybody in jail. Number 13, KM says him. This is what I want you to do. I want you to call up the person and say that I got a call from some friends of mine who say that you reached out to them and that you mentioned my name. And remember, protect your name recently. So what you're going to say is, I got a call from some friends of mine who said that you had reached out and that you had mentioned my name. These people want to go to the police because they had nothing to do with what you're talking about, okay? And frankly, I don't know what you're talking about, but the name sounds familiar of who's incarcerated. So I'm going to give you something as charity to help the less fortunate, but do not contact these people again or they're going to the police. And let them know you had to do everything in your world to prevent these people from going to the police because they don't know anything and I don't know anything. And that the name sounds a little familiar, and that I'm going to help you out with some charity, and don't ever contact me, my friends or my family again, or we will go to the police. Number 15, I mean, Katie, I'll go to the moon and back for you. That's without even saying I don't need to say that. KM, but that's what you know. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Help me out. Like, you know it. I don't have to sit here and tell you what I would do. I could show you what I could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how I am, how I look for things to do. You don't ask for shit. I'm the only one that's like, hey, Noah's birthday's coming up. I got you. You know, I'm like the one who's like anything I can, you know, you don't ask. I'm the one who's like, hey, I'll sell you a Lexus for a very good price. I know you're having car problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the only one. I don't have to tell you. I show you. There's a difference. 16, I know my head was, when I was leaving the house, I literally had the bag out and I had it with my car keys. I know, well, if you want, you guys can swing by my house later. So what are we doing? Okay, I'm talking and I want you to take it back. Write the number down and I'm going to give you cash. And I want you to talk to 6570. And that's the end of the parts of the conversation. And then it says, after the in-person meeting with Katie, Charles called Donna back to report his meeting and said he is handling everything. Donna then called Charles back, sounding very concerned. On April 21st, 2016, calls were intercepted between Katie and Charles, and they attempted to disguise their conversation using real estate references, such as security, property posted incorrectly, and wrong tenants for rental property. Charles and his dad, Harvey, met for dinner later that evening. Katie and Garcia were intercepted having numerous arguments over the phone. The morning of April 21st, it appeared Katie was trying to convince Garcia to figure out who the phone number belonged to and place the call himself. In a heated exchange, Garcia said, I'm not making that effing phone call. He later said, "I'm going to take care of this effing problem." That was call 825. On Monday, April 25th, 2016, a letter was sent to Harvey and Donna. This letter was sent via USPS by investigators for the purpose of follow-up from the undercover initial conversation. Calls intercepted indicate Donna shared the information with Charles, who in turn forwarded it to Katie. Katie again asked Garcia to either determine who the phone number belonged to or call the number. Katie reported to Charles the phone was either out of service or not a good number. It appeared Garcia lied to Katie about making the call or had not called the correct phone number. The agent's phone was not called and was working properly after conducting tests to verify. Wow. Good to see you, Dee Dee. Thanks for being here. This is Donna Adelson case. Later the same day, Charles called Katie and asked if she was on her way. It appeared Charles and Katie had been communicating through a different source to schedule a meeting. Later, review of iCloud messages from Charles' records indicate he and Katie would often communicate via WhatsApp, a phone application that allows for secure communication not retrieved in a cellular record. Charles directed her to Harvey and Donna's building to meet with them. Charles told Katie that he was talking to his parents about everything. Charles continued to try and convince her to meet at Donna and Harvey's building, but eventually agreed to meet with her at another location. Katie called Charles back, who advised they were meeting at a marina near Monty's. On April 26, Charles called Donna and they discussed a conversation that occurred the night prior. Donna said she felt better after the conversation. Donna asked Charles to let her know once things are taken care of. He further stated that if you don't know who the person is, it's a much bigger problem, Charles said. If you know who it is, it's very easy. Charles told Donna to stop getting worked up about things. Charles assured Donna there was nothing she needed to worry about and that it was being looked into. On May 4th, 2016, at approximately 2:09 a.m., a text message was sent to Donna's cell phone from the undercover agent. Later in the day, Charles asked Donna if she was okay, and Donna advised she would talk to Charles about it on Sunday. Charles wanted to talk to Donna before Sunday, and they agreed to Charles coming by around 11:30 a.m. the following day. While driving to meet with Donna, Charles called Katie, advising her there was a new problem and he may need to meet with her later that day. On May 5th, Charles arrived at the Icon and they agreed to meet at the pool area to discuss the text message. This time, Harvey is present with Charles and Donna as they huddled at a corner area for privacy. There was no oral intercept captured due to the location they had the conversation. After the meeting, Charles left the Icon and called Katie, asking her how someone would get his mother's number. Katie told Charles it's possible to locate the number online. Charles used specific phrases sent via the text message. Charles called Donna and they discussed paying the $5,000. Charles advised the sooner they pay the money, the better. They discussed being nice but firm when the money is paid so the person knows that it is only a one-time payment. This is so wild. Hey, Robert. There's a lot here, you guys. I didn't know there was this much stuff. No wonder people are making a huge deal out of this trial. On Friday, May 6th at 5:03 p.m., Donna successfully contacted the agent by calling his phone number. The total duration of the call was 8 minutes and 48 seconds. The call was recorded by the FBI. In summary, Donna made the excuse her grandchildren had possession of her phone, so she did not know he called. Donna went over the previous contacts between herself and the agent. She said she took him seriously and she was stressed out. She claimed she asked friends what she should do. She denied knowing anything referenced by the agent concerning help provided to her by the agent's friend. She then brought up the reward offer and suggested that he seek that out instead. The agent reminded her all he asked for was $5,000. Donna claimed she had nothing to do with the death of her ex-son-in-law and that she was left out of the loop. The agent reminded her the problem was not going away and she did know Katie and what was done for her. Donna continued to deny knowledge and ended the conversation by saying she would call the agent back. They totally set her up. Call 3290 on 5/7. Charles told Katie about a new CD he wanted her to listen to, indicating he had a recording of the call between Donna and the agent. Charles used the reference "pot-belly pigs," the police, to which Katie responded, "That's not good." On May 25th, Sigfredo Garcia was arrested for his involvement in the case. On May 26, 2016, a day later, electronic surveillance suggested that Charles Adelson and Catherine were in close proximity to each other and may have met in the overnight early morning hours. On June 28th, Luis Rivera was arrested for the involvement in the case. On September 30th, a proffer was conducted with Luis Rivera in the presence of his attorney. This proffer was not recorded. Rivera was sworn prior to any testimony. Rivera stated that he knew Sigfredo since childhood. Garcia told Rivera about a high-dollar robbery he wanted to do with Rivera in Tallahassee, Florida. The first time Rivera and Garcia traveled to Tallahassee was in June of 2014. Once they departed for Tallahassee in June of 2014, it was when Rivera learned Garcia wanted him to commit a murder, not a robbery. Garcia promised Rivera $30,000 to do this. While en route to Tallahassee, Garcia provided Rivera with more details, explaining a woman with 2 kids wanted her ex-husband unalived so she could have full custody of the children in Miami. Garcia told Rivera the offer was presented to him by Katie, and the total payment for the murder was $100,000. Rivera suggested robbing the woman of $1,000 instead of committing the crime. That is crazy. Okay, so then the two traveled with a long-barreled .38 Taurus revolver and a short-barreled black S. Smith & Wesson revolver. The two around the victim's residence and followed the victim's vehicle. Rivera recalled Garcia having a colored printed photo of the victim with the words printed on it. Rivera could not recall what was printed. They would eventually park at the Withrop Park and wait for the victim to leave. Rivera would later show investigators where they parked and the routes they took to the victim's residence. Rivera indicated Garcia told him Katie approached Garcia with the offer of $100,000 to be divided amongst 3. $40,000 was for Garcia, $35,000 was for Rivera, and the remainder for Katie. Garcia later offered $2,000 more to Rivera after losing the victim and failing to complete the crime in June. The two decided to return to Miami. $40,000 and $35,000 to unalive someone is whack. Literally whack. I mean, no money is. I'm not saying that it's right or any money would make it fair or right, but that seems like very little to commit such a heinous crime. Approximately a month later, well, probably not for them, right? Approximately a month later, the two returned to Tallahassee to commit the crime. Rivera rented the Prius in his name. They arrived in Tallahassee in the early morning of July 17th. The same morning, July 17th, they drove to the victim's neighborhood. While driving around, Garcia involuntarily discharged the revolver through the floorboard of the Prius. Rivera noticed the car started losing power, and they learned Garcia shot a hole through the gas line. They were able to repair the vehicle and continue traveling. A search warrant was issued on October 16 for the Prius. The fuel line underneath the passenger side of the vehicle was spliced together, and the corresponding holes located in the floorboard consistent with the information provided by Rivera. The following morning, July 18th, Rivera and Garcia traveled back to the area of the victim's residence where they observed the victim leaving the neighborhood. They followed the victim around town as he dropped his kids off and went to the Premier Gym. As they returned to the victim's residence, the victim turned off Thomasville Road prior to Benton Road. Rivera and Garcia traveled further down to Benton and entered the neighborhood from the south. As they approached the victim's residence, the victim was pulling in the driveway in front of them. They pulled in behind the victim as he was parked in the garage. Garcia exited the Prius and approached the driver's side of the victim's car. Garcia shot the victim twice in the head and then returned to the Prius, and the two left Tallahassee. They traveled north on Thomasville Road, confirming the information previously discovered through electronic data. Wild. While driving back to South Florida, Garcia called Katie approximately an hour into the drive. Garcia told Katie, "It's done." Rivera explained he could hear Katie's voice as Garcia held the phone up to his ear. During the drive, Garcia asked Rivera to pull over near a bridge and waterway so Garcia could dispose of the firearm. Numerous attempts to locate this bridge and waterway were unsuccessful. Upon returning to South Florida, Rivera and Garcia withdrew cash from the ATM in Pembroke Pines, where they were observed on ATM security camera. They then drove to Rivera's residence. The following morning, Rivera received a call from Katie. She told him if he wanted the money, he needed to tell her where to meet her because she could not get a hold of Garcia. Rivera knew Garcia was at Stephanie Carmona's residence, so he called a friend, Anthony Ortiz, to go pick him up. While waiting to return home, Rivera received a call from his child's mother, Jessica, whom he lived with. Jessica told Rivera and Garcia and that Garcia and Katie were at the residence with a package for him. Rivera returned home. He observed Katie's white SUV in the driveway. As he entered the residence, he received a package from Katie and Garcia. Rivera did not want Jessica to know what was in the package. Rivera then left the residence with Garcia. Rivera described the package as a stash of 100 stacks of cash, $100 bills stapled together. In July of 2018, contact was made with June 𝐿𝐞𝐥𝐥𝐲-𝐕𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞. June was a girlfriend of Charles Adelson at the time of the undercover operation in which FBI agent approached Donna. Of relevance in her interview was her recollection of Charles Adelson having stapled money in the safe of his residence. June stated she followed the case in the news, and when she heard about the stapled money, she found it odd because she remembers Charles keeping his that way. June also testified that Charles was acting angry, agitated, and nervous around the time of the undercover operation and Katie's arrest. Adelson advised that June that he gave Katie a car and financed a portion of her breast augmentation, her boob job. June also observed Donna to be stressed out during the time frame, and Donna made a statement to June that she felt Don was haunting her from the grave. In July of 2021, contact was made with Ryan Fitzpatrick. During the interview with Fitzpatrick, it was learned the two had a falling out in recent years over financial disagreements. He said Charles' entire demeanor changed when Katie was arrested. Katie started putting up security cameras and was constantly paranoid of the arrest. During a conversation with Fitzpatrick, Charles said, "You can get away with schmurder if you keep your mouth shut." Fitzpatrick also stated he knows Charles staples his money together because he had received money from him in that manner. Fitzpatrick said Charles staples his money in 1,000 increments. In October of 2019, Garcia was tried and convicted. He was sentenced to life in prison. In April of 2022, after the clarified audio recording from Dolce Vita revealed Charles was making additional incriminating statements, he was arrested for the first-degree schmurder, solicitation to commit first-degree schmurder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree schmurder. In May of 2022, Katie was tried and convicted. She was sentenced to life in prison. What? Wait, what was the other one convicted? How they life? Did they all get life? In October 2022 and November 2022, the proffers previously mentioned were conducted with Katie. In October of 2023, trial for Charles Adelson commenced. On November 6, 2023, Charles Adelson was found guilty on all charges. He's set to be sentenced in December of 2023. In the Adelson trial, Katie testified that Adelson told her that his mother, Donna, had just departed his residence at the time Katie arrived on the night of the homicide. Katie said the money she received appeared to have been washed. Jail calls from after Charles' guilty verdict include multiple calls in which Donna is telling Charles that she's getting things in order, creating trust, and making sure her grandchildren are taken care of. Donna discusses plans for a suicide, but also discusses a plan to flee to a non-extradition country. Donna Adelson has considerable financial resources to accomplish this. On November 7th, Donna and Harvey booked flights to Vietnam with a stop in Dubai. The flight departs Miami, gets to Dubai, and lands in Saigon at 7:35 p.m. And then this is the warrant. The warrant just basically stating, wait, let me read this. It says, who's this one for? Donna says she did commit an unlawful killing of a human being, Daniel E. Markel, by shooting him with a firearm, and the killing was perpetrated from a premeditated design to effect his death. And then here's the one for the defendant. Still Donna did solicit another person, Charles, to commit first-degree murder, and in the course of such solicitation did engage in specific conduct, which resulted in the death of Daniel Markel. Donna did solicit another person. Okay, yeah, we already read that one. Did conspire with another person, Charles, and others to commit first-degree murder, and in the course of such conspiracy. Wow, these are just all the charges. Okay, that's the end of the warrant. That is crazy. Okay, so then I wanted to show you guys a few pictures off this website that I found the timeline on. It's Stephen Epstein, not Jeffrey Epstein, don't freak out. Has like this website. Can you guys see those pictures? These are just a few pictures of the car that was shot at. I cannot believe they did this. This is wild. So sad. Look at all the blood on the floor. Well, the drops right here. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. The glasses are just like shot through. Wow. I wanted to, okay. Don't freak out. Yeah, don't freak out. I wanted to read one of the emails that I think that they're playing in the trial. This live was just to get like an idea of the case too. This wasn't like a super deep dive. I didn't know a lot of these details. So I wanted to make sure I had them before I watched or play the trial here on my channel, if I was thinking of doing it. So let's read through these emails. There's one, there's like 2 pages. Sorry, I can't see, like, I hope I pulled up the right one. It's like so small. Okay, yeah, this is it. So it says, let me make it there. What channel is the trial on? It's on, they're playing it on a bunch of them. I think like Law and Crime and Court TV. I wanted to learn about the case before I come here and actually play it, but I was thinking of playing it. Are you guys interested in that or no? Just like get a little refresh and move on to something else. I know so many people are covering it, but I thought maybe we could like watch it together after the fact. Okay, so this email is from Donna to Wendi. This was on May 3rd. Dear Wendi, okay, just saw this email this morning. Obviously, his 23-page rant was insufficient, so he's trying to push the court to deny hearing your petition. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if to prevent any action, your attorney must respond or not. Only you and she know that. However, Gibbers has made his divorce a full-time job to attempt to get what he's always gotten, his way. His job allows for lots of time for him to put into this project, and you know as well as I do that all the research he's done on different case laws to prove his point in his research, not his attorneys. No matter who did it, he's quoting 13 cases to show why the court should basically throw out your petition. Oh, is this a petition to move? Remember, it was denied. Is Kristen answering this? Does it require an answer to make sure that it is not seen by the courts as ignoring his rights? I don't know. You need to find out. The most important part of your divorce is relocation. I sincerely hope your attorney understands that is your non-negotiable. Lots of things are negotiable. That's the one thing you cannot let her think, okay, well, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. She needs to hear from you how serious you are about this and how it will benefit the children with a close-knit family support system, as well as your significantly better job with hours much more flexible than your current job, so that you can spend significantly more time with the children, which requires teaching hours, office hours, court appearances, meetings with med school people, and multiple trips away from home. Those trips need to be coordinated with a very angry man who will not be cooperative with you in this regard. For example, this past weekend, you had your annual conference for Redacted at the same time his regular NYU crap was taking place. He didn't say, oh, I'll go to NYU every month and this is your annual meeting. I'll stay with the children and you go. Of course not. Danny thinks he's a very important person, and as always, he and his needs come first. So without your parents as a backup, one of you would have to stay home with the children. Your attorney needs to understand that your mother worked full-time in the family's dental practice until September, when she felt she was needed by you for the well-being of the children to get them through a transitional time with people who love them and see them frequently and with whom they share great affection. Your father has made numerous trips by plane for weekends and changing the patient's schedules around so that he can continue to spend significant time with the children. Both the disappearance of your mother from the position of the office manager and the disappearance of your father from the practice for a significant amount of time has caused a decrease in the practice income and the loss of some patients who feel that it's either being not run the same way as when my mother was there full-time, or that my father is unable to see patients with problems and has referred them to other offices during his absences. Additionally, this loss of income affects my family because my older brother, also a dentist, purchased a practice from my father in mid-July of 2012. He has a monthly payment to make to my father based on the sale of the practice. It isn't fair to him having decreasing so much time. It isn't fair to him to have decreasing monthly income statements from the practice due to my parents spending so much time in Tallahassee. My brother is unmarried and is a wonderful uncle to Benjamin and Lincoln. If I'm able to relocate to South Florida, they will have incredibly warm and loving family as an integral part of their lives, not an occasional 2-day weekend trip to visit. So Donna basically planned it all out. This is so wild. I don't know why the trolls are out. It's daytime. Chill out. Okay, so let's see. So brief background. So the response, brief background. This is a no-fault divorce state. So this nonsense about non-marital infidelity or abuse doesn't matter. However, a hot temper and verbal abuse is what you need to emphasize that you suffered under his reign. Narcissistic personality disorder can cause major problems in a marriage, especially when one believes that because he attended Harvard undergrad and Harvard Law, he clearly better and smarter than anyone, including you. Only an idiot like him would write that he should be the only one consulted for making decisions regarding the health and education and religion of his children. Clearly, no one, including you, is as smart as he is in those regards. The money you moved into an account for you was exactly half to the penny of the joint account, which is marital assets. The furniture you took was the bare minimum: a bed for you to sleep on from the guest bedroom, one nightstand, and your dresser. You took 2 chairs that you bought 5 years ago at a neighborhood furniture closeout sale for $50 each. You have receipts to show all the new furniture you purchased to relocate to a safe place. You absolutely must emphasize that the only reason you left when he was out of town is because of the threat you'll leave without your children, without a penny, and just with the clothes on your back. It is super important for the judge to get the message that this guy is a big bully. I know she'll be able to read that when you submit copies of some of the emails he sent you. He feels if he said something, that's it. Well, that's not it. He says you did this while he was on a short business trip. How about how many trips to conferences, etc., has this man taken? How much time away from his family? You have all of those documented. Now you need to sit down and figure out how many days away that's been. How about adding to that all of his 2-week trips to Israel, especially when you were at the end of your pregnancy? Sweet, caring, concerned husband. Wow. He talks about not knowing where the children were for first 6 weeks. Let the court know that although he was never particularly interested in children prior to the divorce, he was advised to keep a diary and make sure that he shows his interest now. You arranged to meet him the very next day with Alan and Lynn Grossman, mutual friends, and the children at a local yogurt shop so that he could see the children were fine. You were in fear of his temper, so you did not want to reveal your address. However, 4 days after the separation, you arranged to bring the children to his house, and his parents were going to be in town, and they were there for the Rosh Hashanah holiday with them. The following week, on one of the uninvited treks to your office, after he threatened you with federal kidnapping charges, which of course now he recants like he does anything. He can't believe he actually did. You gave him your address. That was 1 week after the separation, not 6. He says you took non-marital assets. What? She says, question mark. He says the children were 3 and 1 at the time this took place. Ben was 3 and Lincoln was 23 months, 1 month before his second birthday. He talks about you both being well-paid professors with stable jobs. Yours is not a tenure track job, and with the economy as it is, there's no guarantee will be in the future. His trash talking you to various faculty members about your mental instability has also poisoned your work environment, making it very extremely difficult for you to continue to function there in the same way as you previously did. Oh, so Dan was telling people that she had mental instability issues. Your job pays you half of what his job pays. So on your own, it is not feasible to continue to live in the home you are currently renting. You have borrowed a considerable amount of money from your parents and must repay it for the furniture, legal fees, moving expenses, etc. My parents have paid all the grocery bills up to this point for which I have to reimburse them. I do not want to dip into the money from our marital account as well that will have to go towards supporting the children in the future. According to Jippers, the relocation must show the current arrangement for the children is deficient from the perspective of the children and that relocation would advance their interests. This is something that we would have reviewed numerous times in other papers, Wendi. Review all that we put together in this regard rather than have me repeat it. Obviously, the number one reason is significantly more income for you in a job that will also give you significantly more time with the children. For children at this tender age, nothing is more important than spending quality time with them, which your current job does not permit. The financial freedom which will accompany this job will allow you to provide educational and outside activities and lessons for the boys that would not be affordable under your current salary. 2, the ability for our children to spend quality time with my parents and my mother, a retired elementary school teacher, would be a huge bonus to our children's academic and social progress. In my parents' home, each child currently has and would continue to have their own rooms with appropriate beds, furniture, books, and toys. Dang, Donna really typed all of this up for her, like for reals. Mr. Markel has become a religious zealot over the last few years since the birth of our first son, taking him to a synagogue with him as an infant so that he can observe the music and the prayers. He has done the same with our second son. This is also to show the congregation what an attentive father he is. The fact remains that the children are watched by children of other congregants in a sort of playroom while the services are going on. Mr. Markel picks one of them up to come back out at certain parts of the service to hear particular hymns and then returns them to the care of the babysitters. This is done rather than allowing them to remain home with me. When I protested, he insisted he always gets his way. There are no Hebrew day schools in Tallahassee. Mr. Markel seems intent upon religious training, but feels that only he could provide the best religious training for our children. He is indoctrinating them, not teaching them. If he truly cared about a religious school for them, then clearly 1 out of the 37 Hebrew day schools in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County would be better choice for our boys. My home in Broward County is close to many of these schools and a midway between Dade and Palm Beach schools. So they were all in the same religion. They were all Jewish. Donna was too? Or do I have that wrong? I hope your attorney is researching cases when relocation was granted and what the circumstances were. Also, the cases are different, and because one case didn't allow it doesn't mean that should prevent another case from receiving that benefit. Danny has said on numerous occasions, one, I have my phone and as a saved message, what wonderful grandparents and in-laws we've been. He knows the children are very close to us and we'd always be there to take care of them. What's going to happen in June when he wants to go to 3 different conferences? Don't let him go. If you do, you're enabling him and you're facilitating your stay in Tallahassee. You'll be showing him that anytime he has a meeting he wants to go to, that's fine. You'll watch the boys. That's the whole point of relocation for you and the children. He can continue to attend all the meetings he wants to go to and then arrange for frequent and extended visitation with the boys. Maybe some of the money he spends on his trips can be used to visit the boys. Another bribe to get him to allow relocation should be the offer of plane tickets, since he does have family that would allow him to use their homes to stay in. But obviously, that's a last-ditch effort if all else fails. He's trying to show the court that your request is frivolous and that you should have to pay for yours and his court cost in this plea. Your lawyer has to let the court know that this is anything but frivolous. And isn't he also supposed to pay some of your regular legal fees? The bastard was not only paid 1 cent towards your bridge gap alimony. Why only 2 months of a child support payment over an 8-month time frame? Loving, caring father that he is. Do you need info on grocery bills? I have I have a good many of them and can show the court what it's been costing just for that with no support from Jibbers. Also find out from Kristen if she wants you to pay us back now or wait. What's best for your case? I'm too angry to write anymore. I'm going to shower, wash my hair, and get ready for you and the boys to come home. Dad said he'd look up any papers tonight or over the weekend that you may need. He even has the info on what Danny said in his IRA and 401k prior to marriage. Love, Mom. I wanted to read that email because I know that it's like coming into play at the trial or already did. So with that being said, I haven't decided yet if I want to play this trial. Are you guys interested in that? If so, we would have to start from the beginning because I don't want to just jump in now. I think it's on like day 6. There's a lot. I know, Augie. I feel like even just reading that, we're like, holy balls. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to start. We can cover it at least like opening statements. And then I'm interested to hear all of it though. I really am kind of interested in this. So I will definitely start covering it. We'll do opening statements first, and then we can go from there. If we're all bored, then we won't play it. But if we're all into it, then yeah, we'll cover it. I know a lot of other creators are covering it. Matt, I'm here either way, says Cree. Thanks, girl. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so we're going to end with Donna Adelson there. On the next one, I want to play the interrogation videos first before the trial, but I'll see. I'll schedule them. I'll always let you guys know. We're going to end this live here. I just wanted to get the facts of the case because I've been hearing about the trial, and if we watch it, at least now we know like the main parts that were in the affidavit that are important. So please make sure you hit the like button. I do have a 𝐿𝐥𝐥𝐲 text message live scheduled after this. I just need to go eat and then I will be back. So I will see you guys on the next live. Thank you guys for being here. And like I said, I'll schedule a live so we can start listening to opening statements in this trial. For this trial, so we can cover it here. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, Augie, for being here. Thank you all for being here. And I will see you. We're going to be eating a veggie sandwich. And then we're going to do 𝐿𝐥𝐥𝐲. I do plan to be live on 𝐿𝐥𝐥𝐲 for a few hours. So definitely make sure you guys go do what you got to do. Come right back. And I'm going to change the time right now. I'll have to go look at it. But come back in a little bit and we will continue to cover 𝐿𝐥𝐥𝐲 Charlotte. Thanks for being here, you guys. I'll see you on the next one.